Weekend at the lake. It was a warm and sunny Friday morning when the Johnson family set off for a weekend at the lake. Mr. Johnson, Mrs. Johnson, and their two children, Anna and Ben, were very excited because they had been planning this trip for many weeks. The family packed their car with food, water, blankets, and a small boat for the lake. They also brought along fishing rods, a picnic basket, and some games to play in the open air. The drive to the lake was full of happy music and cheerful conversation, and everyone looked forward to a peaceful time away from the busy city. As the car moved along the winding road, Anna and Ben gazed out of the window and counted the trees and hills. The road passed through small towns with bright houses and friendly people who waved as the car drove by. The family stopped at a small gas station where they bought cold drinks and a few snacks. Mrs. Johnson smiled as she watched her children laugh at a funny sign on the wall, and Mr. Johnson talked about all the fun activities they would do once they reached the lake. The gentle hum of the car engine and the soft chatter of the family made the journey a pleasant experience. When they finally arrived at the lake, the family was greeted by a beautiful view. The lake was large and calm, and its clear blue water sparkled under the bright sunlight. Tall trees surrounded the lake, and colorful wildflowers grew along the shore. The air was fresh and cool, and the sound of birds singing filled the space. Mr. Johnson helped the children out of the car, and they all took a moment to look at the peaceful scene before them. Anna said, "This is the most beautiful place I have ever seen," and Ben nodded in agreement. Their voices were soft, but the excitement in their eyes was very clear. The family's first activity was to take a walk along the lake. They strolled slowly on a path that followed the water's edge. Mrs. Johnson pointed out the different types of trees and explained how some trees were very old and had many rings in their trunks. Mr. Johnson picked up a small stone and showed it to the children, explaining that even a simple stone can be interesting when you look at its shape and color. As they walked, they saw ducks swimming gracefully in the water, and a few fish jumped out of the lake to catch the attention of everyone. The Johnson family enjoyed these small wonders and talked about nature and the importance of taking care of the environment. After their walk, the family decided to have a picnic near a small grassy area close to the lake. They spread a large checkered blanket on the soft ground and arranged all the food neatly on it. There were sandwiches, fruit, cheese, and fresh lemonade. Anna and Ben sat on the blanket while Mr. and Mrs. Johnson prepared the food. They talked and laughed as they enjoyed their meal, and even the birds seemed to join in by chirping happily around them. During the picnic, Mrs. Johnson explained to the children why it was important to eat healthy food and how nature provides us with many of the ingredients we need. The conversation was simple and clear, and the children listened carefully to every word. After the picnic, the family decided to explore more of what the lake had to offer. They went to the small boat that Mr. Johnson had brought and took turns rowing on the calm water. Anna was a little nervous at first, but soon she learned how to row slowly and carefully. Ben loved the feeling of the cool breeze on his face as they glided over the lake. While they rowed, Mr. Johnson pointed out different birds and insects that lived around the water, and he told them interesting facts about each one. The sound of the oars moving through the water mixed with the gentle lapping of the waves, and it created a peaceful melody that made everyone feel calm and happy. Later in the afternoon, the family went fishing on the shore of the lake. They sat on a wooden bench near the water and used their fishing rods to try and catch some fish. Anna and Ben were very patient and watched the water carefully, while Mr. Johnson taught them how to hold the rod and how to feel a tug on the line. Even though they did not catch many fish, the children learned that fishing was not only about catching food, but also about enjoying the quiet time and learning about nature. Mrs. Johnson told them that sometimes it is more important to have fun and be together than to get a good catch, and the children smiled at her kind words. As the sun began to set, the sky turned orange and pink, and the lake reflected these warm colors like a mirror. The family sat on the shore and watched the sunset together. They talked about the day and shared their favorite moments. Anna said that her favorite part was rowing on the lake, and Ben said he loved the picnic the most. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were happy to see that their children had enjoyed the day and had learned many new things about nature and life. The peaceful scene of the sunset helped everyone feel relaxed and thankful for the beautiful day. That night, after a warm dinner at a small cabin near the lake, the family gathered in the living room. They sat around a small fire and talked about the adventure they had experienced. Mr. Johnson shared stories from his childhood when he used to visit the lake with his own family, and he explained how those memories were very important to him. Anna and Ben listened carefully and asked many questions about the past. The stories were simple and full of wisdom, and they taught the children the value of family traditions and spending time with loved ones. After the stories, the family played a board game together. The game was simple and fun, and it made everyone laugh and enjoy the moment. The laughter filled the cabin, and even on a cool night, the warmth of the family's love made everyone feel safe and happy. The game also helped the children learn how to take turns and how to win and lose with a good spirit, which is an important lesson for life. The next morning, the family woke up early to see the sunrise over the lake. They sat on the cabin's porch with cups of warm tea and watched as the first light of day spread across the sky. The calm water of the lake, the gentle sound of the wind, and the peaceful silence of the morning made it a perfect time to think and be thankful. Mrs. Johnson said, "Every new day is a gift, and we must learn to enjoy even the small moments of life." And the children listened carefully to her wise words. Before they left the lake, the Johnson family took one last walk along the shore. They collected a few small stones and colorful leaves to remember the trip. Anna and Ben talked about all the fun things they had done and promised each other that they would come back to the lake again. Mr. and Mrs. Johnson smiled and agreed that these memories were very precious, and that the simple pleasures of life were the best treasures of all. On the drive back home, the family talked about their plans for the next trip and all the things they had learned during the weekend. They discussed how nature is full of beauty and that it is important to respect the environment by not littering and by taking care of plants and animals. The children felt proud because they had learned many new words and ideas about nature, friendship, and family. They knew that these lessons would help them in school and in life. By the time the family returned to the city, they felt refreshed and happy. The weekend at the lake had given them a break from their busy lives and had taught them simple but important lessons about nature and togetherness. They promised to keep these memories alive by looking at the small stones and leaves they had collected and by talking about the beautiful moments they had shared. The trip was a clear reminder that sometimes the simplest places, like a quiet lake, can offer the richest experiences. In the end, the Johnson family learned that a weekend at the lake is not just a fun escape from the city, but also a time to learn about nature, to share moments with loved ones, and to appreciate the beauty of the world around them. The experience showed them that every day is a chance to explore, to learn, and to grow, and that the lessons from nature can be very helpful in understanding life. They look forward to their next adventure, knowing that every trip, no matter how simple, could bring new knowledge and joy.